Hey everybody, welcome back to Writing Settings 2. I'm enjoying reading through your discussion board posts, like I said, from your introductions last week and also your post this week. I wanted to talk a little bit more about like what you're writing here, and then what we're looking at on deck for next week. And so, by now you should have read this Catherine Savini's Looking for Trouble, and then our pages and They Say, I Say. Remember, I put this PDF here for right now in case you're having trouble, getting access to the book or whatever it might be. Um, and our discussion board one is all about Catherine Savini's post, or all about her article, I should say. Um, and it just asks you to think about how your own writing process is similar to or different from hers. And I see most of you all have been able to respond about that. And then, of course, your peer response, it just looks at what your peers said. What do you find interesting or useful? How do you relate? Or maybe how is something somebody else does? How is it different from what you do? All this is to help us think about what we're looking at next week, which is our discussion board two, which, like our normal system, um, your initial post will be due next Monday, and then your response to a peer will be due Friday. This asks you to start thinking about some interesting topics that come to mind for you that you would be interested in researching. Because one of the things we're going to do in this class is eventually um, work to choose a single topic that you're going to research different aspects of over the semester. So it's not that you're like writing the same paper over and over again, but you'll write different genres about a same topic. So, for example, the one I gave here is um, think about like something like prison reform. Maybe you're interested in the idea of, the privatization of prisons. You watched this documentary, The 13th, and it made you more interested in like what are some ways American prisons could be reformed. Maybe this is tied to your major, and there's a lot of things you could research. Um, that's one thing I suggested I would maybe be potentially interested in researching more of. Because I want you to eventually choose one of these, discussion board two is a place where I'm just going to ask you to list like three possible research topics. So number one, number two, and number three. Um, and I want you to think about things that you like, things that you're interested in, things that are connected maybe to your major, that are connected to just things you like to explore, maybe your own experiences, whatever it may be. Because one of the ideas here is that it's really hard to get invested in a topic you just handed or that you don't care about. And I don't really want to just hand you a topic. I want to work with you to help you focus on a topic that you find really interesting. Maybe you're a psychology major and you're interested in some ideas about like adolescent psychology. Um, Maybe you would list that. For discussion board two, you're going to list your top three, and just in each one just kind of talk about your preliminary thoughts. Why is that interesting to you? Why do you like it? And you can list it just like this in this example: 1, 2, 3. And then your peer response by next Friday is just you're going to leave feedback offering one question somebody else could think about. So for example, if somebody listed prison reform, maybe you list a question about like, is prison reform something that should happen at the state level? Should it happen federally? What's the best way to like inspire people to want to get behind that idea? That could be a question you think about. We're doing this also that eventually we can work towards this article map, which is our first major assignment. That's going to help you sort of map out an argument about your chosen topic. So after you've listed these three topics here, next week we're also going to work towards this article map proposal. You're just proposing, or you choose one of the three, and you're telling me this is the one I want to focus about. Um, and for the article map proposal, you're going to locate an article that makes an argument about that issue. And you're going to do a couple of things. You're going to submit a about 150 words proposing why this is a thing you think is interesting for research. And then you're also going to summarize in about 500 words, what is that author's argument? What are they suggesting? What are they arguing? And I'll make another video more about this proposal. But here's kind of the sequence of things, right? By next Monday, end of the day, list your 3 possible topics. And then you're going to start thinking about which one you would most be interested in writing about. Then you're going to write your article map proposal, locate an article, and that's going to be telling me this is the thing I want to focus on. This is the larger topic I'd like to work with pretty much the rest of the semester, and we'll do different things with that topic as we go along. So those are the next steps. The other thing I'll say is be aware there's a Module 1 reading quiz. It's due, I think, this coming Sunday night in the middle of kind of the module, and that takes into account all of our readings, the They Say, I Say, the Savinian Looking for Trouble. One thing I will say is that I'm pretty sure, and I'm sorry about this, the Prather, the No Trigger Warnings, that may not be available for some people. It was a newspaper article, and it looks like they just recently put up a paywall or removed it. If you don't have access to that, don't worry. I won't count that against you. If you can't get access to reading it, don't worry about it. If you get a reading quiz question about it, I'm not going to count that against you if you don't have access to the Prather No Trigger Warnings. And you don't need it to have done our discussion boards, so don't sweat that part if you're having trouble accessing it. Okay. Please email me if I can help. If you're having trouble thinking of research questions, email me, let me know. I'd love to help out. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to reading your replies to each other on discussion board 1, and then next week we'll be digging into discussion board 2. All right, guys, take care. Reach out with any questions or concerns.